Good morning from India. This is Kalyan from Sai Solution, and we are here to introduce the new publishing of Lifestyle for Health and Happiness. Uh, so we have the privilege to be with the author herself, Katy Hinton, and we know Kevin is always there with us. So before we introduce Katy, I'd like to invite my colleague Victoria also in this. She will be moderating and interviewing Katy. Hi, Victoria. Good morning.
Hi,
Good
Kalyan. Good
afternoon for you.
afternoon, Australia. Absolutely. It's afternoon
Yes.
here,
Yes.
indeed. So,
Yes.
good morning to everybody in India, and good morning, good afternoon to anybody else who's tuning in from around the world. Indeed. So, yeah,
Yes.
so today we're
Yeah. Please go on.
relaunching the book A Lifestyle for Health and Happiness, which was written by Kevin and Katy Hinton. They were first published this book back in 2010. And it's gone through a few reprints over the ensuing years, and we've just reprinted it now, and it's now easily
Yes.
available
Let us.
everyone. So yeah.
Yeah. Let us bring Katy on stage. Welcome, Katy.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Good
Yeah.
morning. It's
Thanks
such
a
a
lot, and it's a privilege. Yeah.
it's a privilege to
Namaste.
be here.
Namaste, sir. Yeah.
Namaste. A privilege to be here to greet the Indian audience. I am honored, and I know that if Kevin were still with us, he would be so delighted.
He would be, for sure. Absolutely.
Great.
So
So yeah, over to you, Victoria. I'll be available backstage so that the screen space will be available more. So over to you. I'll be joining in a while. Yeah.
absolutely. So welcome, Katy. It's thank you so much for making yourself available to us today. And this is
Thank you, Victoria.
a
It's
project.
always an honor. It's an honor to always work with you, my most esteemed colleague,
Thank you,
nature
Katy.
care practitioner, Victoria.
Thank you so much. And this is just a wonderful book that I've had in my life since it was first published in 2010, and over the
Yes.
years, there's been many people who have also
Yes.
enjoyed it. And now we have reprinted it, and we've made it much more easily available. So we're sort of like, putting it out there to everybody that the book is available. And
Yes.
so today, since we're so lucky to have you here, I thought I would ask you a few questions about the book and about the process that you went through in
Yes.
writing the book with Kevin. So what was your and Kevin's intention or vision for writing this book in the first place?
At the time that we began to write this book, we had been practicing nature cure for around about 25 years and had been working with people as patients under our care. And we knew that there was a need to have a guidebook to go along with instructions that we were giving to people for their particular reasons. And we wanted to expose a very easy lifestyle to our patients and let them know how simple the practices were and how really pleasurable they are without there being, expenses for curatives or procedures that had to be done. We wanted to tell the truth about health. That was a driving factor for Kevin. He really wanted to just show that there is a truth to the acquisition of health and healing. And so, because there was and still is a lot of confusion about what we should do when we find ourselves in disease and how we regain our health, or if we're healthy, how we maintain it. Tremendous amount of information is available to people, and that makes it difficult to decide. But we had already had a long period of living the lifestyle ourselves, and we were standing on the shoulders of giants who had had over 200 years worth of lifestyle experience based on the principles and practices of nature cure. So let me just add one more thing to answer the question thoroughly. We wanted a book that was pure nature cure. Another name for that being natural health and natural healing. Sometimes you will see it under lifestyle sciences, sometimes you'll see it under natural hygiene. And we wanted to make sure that the philosophy was true behind the book. And that philosophy being that we believe that the body heals itself when the conditions are correct by removing causes, providing the 8 biological necessities for life, and allowing rest when the healing cycles occur. So that was the real incentive for us to write this book.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think it makes me think something I say so often, especially to clients of myself, is that, if you want to have health, then you must live in health.
Yes.
And why, I say to
I
people,
like that.
that's why the book was called A Lifestyle
Wow.
for Health and Happiness, because
So true.
nature cure is not a quick fix. It is a lifestyle.
No, it
Absolutely.
is a lifestyle, and that is one of the big keys to
Yeah.
achieving long-term health for yourself and to achieve healing when the body is in a state of disease, no matter how little or how great.
Absolutely. And I like that you put that, the book was about pure nature cure, because we know that
Yes.
the term nature cure has over a number of years been watered down by, people,
Sure.
and they think they're practicing or following nature cure, but really what they're doing is following it to a certain extent, some alternative
Right.
medicine.
Yes.
So the philosophy, the content of this book is pure nature cure. So
Yes.
I sort of think to
Yes.
say to people, if it ain't in the book, it's not nature cure.
Well, we really endeavored to
Yeah.
stay true.
Yeah.
Kevin was just an erudite thinker, and he took quite a long time to write this book. I was a co-writer with him
Yeah.
and an editor, although it was professionally edited. We had been. It was not like we started off as nature cure practitioners and immediately wrote a book. We stood
No.
we stood with Kenneth S. Jaffrey,
Yeah.
and we waited a long time before we started to say it in the words that we believed to be true about health and happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Kenneth Jaffrey himself wrote a number of smaller books that I was
Yes.
been lucky enough to have all along. And I remember before your book was
Mm-hmm.
published, I used to think to myself, there's all these little books. It'd be great if we could compile all this information into kind of one book. And a lot of
Right.
Kenneth writings were directed towards the practitioner as well as those
Yes.
directed towards. So this book is
Right.
really for anybody, isn't it, Katy? It's
It
not
is for anybody, and one of the things that we thought about as we were writing is that we wanted a guidebook, a handbook, something that as we were teaching patients what they needed to do, that we could back it up with the philosophy and the principles and the how-tos of putting together the lifestyle.
absolutely. As a practitioner, Katy, when I work with people, the first
Yes.
thing, of course, we have to do with anybody is we have to do a diagnosis. But I
Correct.
say to people, once I've done the diagnosis, then I change my hat, and now I am educator. And
That's right.
and
That's
what
absolutely right.
nature cure is. Like yes, the diagnosis is very important, extremely important, because we need to know what we're dealing with as a practitioner if you're working one-on-one with somebody. But
Correct.
really, when it comes to health, it's about educating people. It's not, you cannot sell health to somebody. You
No.
cannot, somebody who spends their life ignoring the laws of nature, living outside of the realms of health,
Yes.
cannot go to anybody, whether they're a nature
No.
cure practitioner, whether they're a doctor, whatever line of health philosophy they follow. You can't go to somebody and
No.
say, make me well.
No. No. There's no magic wand. It is a doing. It is an action that one takes. And you're absolutely correct, Victoria. Discovering what causes a person to be out of health or in disease. And that's what a nature care practitioner does. And then you're certainly right. We then change hats and we become health educators. And that's where the responsibility of health goes on to the shoulders of the new person learning. We take responsibility for our health when we practice this lifestyle. And it's wonderful, and the results are fabulous.
The results are beyond,
they are all beyond what you can imagine. And the simplicity. It's the simplicity and the enjoyment of the lifestyles. I mean, don't you find that, eating living foods and having exposure to sunlight, I mean, how wonderful, and breathing pure air and drinking clear, clean water and getting exercise and rest and relaxation and keeping a positive mental attitude, making sure your spine is right. Those are the practices of natural living, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember reading a statement by Kenneth Jaffrey years ago, to saying that the true power of nature cure is when you put all of those 8 elements together. And I think, unfortunately, I love about the book too is when I work with clients and when I am educating them, I give them a lot of information in each educational session that we do.
Yes.
But I really love to, to everybody I work with, I say, buy this book, because this is your textbook. This is your textbook for health. This is your textbook for life.
Yep.
As we work together, you will refer to this book. And when we finish our consultation sessions, you can then go to the book. And everything I've spoken to you about in our consultation is all in that book. And the book backs up everything I've spent time teaching them one-on-one with.
Yes.
So that their education is very concrete, it's very solid. And long after we finish consulting with one another, you will always have this book, your guidebook for life.
Right.
And you can refer to it. As I have, even now, now, after years of practice, personal practice, and I still refer to this book.
Well, we are always working, just like mothers and fathers with their children as they're growing up. We're working them towards independence. And a nature care practitioner is doing the same thing. We're working our patients or clients towards independence, so that once they have grasped the concepts and they've put the principles and practices into effect, they're free. It's freedom. Absolutely. And once people know what to do, and it's not hard. This is a very, very simple way to health. Not complicated, easy to understand. Children understand it as well as adults, and sometimes better.
True.
Well, it is, because they like it. They like the lifestyle.
Funny you say that, because yesterday I was having a look at one of my copies, and in the introduction here, it says, you've quoted Thomas Huxley, and it says, "Sit down for the facts as a child.
As a child.
Be prepared to give up every preconceived notion. Follow humbly where nature leads, or you will learn nothing." And I read that yesterday, and it landed on me as I thought, absolutely, when we come to Nature Cure, so often, as you have said yourself, unlearn to learn, isn't it, Kalyan?
Yes, so true. Yeah, that is so true, Kelly. And I've always grabbed hold of that idea and put it deep into my head. Unlearn to learn.
Yeah.
Unlearn to learn.
Yeah.
And the philosophies, as you say, the philosophies of Nature Cure are simple. They are not, you don't have to be a PhD.
No.
That. And the contents, and what I also love about the book, Katy, as I'm sure I've said to you and Kevin over the years, is it's written in a language that anybody can understand.
Absolutely.
It's in a language that somebody who knows nothing about health whatsoever could pick this book up and really learn, digest, and take some really good information out of it, and then put that information into practice in their life. So
correct. And it is that easy. It is that simple. It is that easy, and it is that comprehensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Yes. So
yeah.
I'd like to ask Katie about the
Yes.
requirement of this republishing of this book. Can you just share the
Yes, the
experience?
republishing of this, yes, of course, the republishing of the book, I was encouraged with Victoria's inputs. She's the next generation of nature care practitioners, and she saw some ideas, and we needed a bit of further editing on things that were, not reading quite right, and we thought, update the cover and bring it up a little bit. It's 12 years old from its first edition. And so, really, it was the encouragement of Victoria that was decided, and she did a great deal of editing on the book, for which I was very grateful about that. And together collaborating on the final product. Well, it was sent to print, and basically, I think that answers your question. Maybe.
And
Yes.
the other thing also, Kalyan, I work a lot with clients in India, and as I said, until now, if people wanted this book, I would have to sell it to them in Australian dollars for what it was worth,
Mm,
and I'd also have to
yeah.
post it to them from Australia. And for a lot of my clients in India, it was prohibitively expensive. So
Yes.
we knew that it was an issue, and we wanted to make this book easily
Yeah.
affordable to everybody, regardless
Absolutely.
of your, where you live in the world, what your, economy is like, how much money you have, etc. Because, this is really a philanthropic venture for us, is that we want
Mm,
this information available
yeah.
to anybody and everybody. And
Yeah.
so not only reprinting it for us here in Australia because we'd run out of copies, but it was also really evident to me after a few years of practice that I needed to make this book available at
Yeah.
an affordable price for
Yes.
not only my
Yes.
clients in India but anybody in India who wants to
Yes.
read the book, because Nature Cure is very established in India, and lots of people there are very interested in the subject. So not only did we reprint here in Australia with the wonderful assistance of yourself, Kalyan, and thank you so much. We're
Thank you, Kalyan.
you. With your assistance, Kalyan, we now have been able to print this book in India. So there are physical copies available in India for dispatch in
Yes.
India, and and at a price that pretty much anybody could afford.
And
And
Yes.
that is exactly that is one of Kevin's biggest aims, was to always be able to allow people access to the information of nature cure, natural living, and natural healing without it having an economic barrier. He wanted it for all, health for everyone, accessible.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes,
Mm.
as far as the Indian currency is concerned, it's almost one fourth or lesser than that. The
Yeah,
price for the
Oh,
audience to know. Yes, yes,
yeah,
okay.
yes.
absolutely. And
Comparing
the
to the
other
previous.
thing we've done as well now is, so the book is available on my website, which is
Yeah.
www.moranpurenaturopathy.com.
Let me share that on the
Thank you,
screen as
Talia.
well.
Thank you. So if you go to my website there and hit the shop tab, you'll see the book there, and you can buy the book either in hard copy, in physical copy, or you can as well buy the book downloadable PDF form, which is even more cost effective. So,
Yes.
and one thing I just wanted to let
So
everybody know.
I'd like to repeat the steps for the viewers. Like on moranpurenaturopathy.com, we'll share the link also in the chat and otherwise also. So you'll get a tab here as shop. When you click that shop, then you will have two options to purchase the book, the PDF copy or the hard copy. You see here. So the
Yes.
price quoted for the hard copy is including the shipping charge in India, if it is from India.
So
Yeah,
750 rupee will
yes,
get it delivered to your door in India.
yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful. which is a fraction of the price it used
Which
to
is
be.
great.
Four times that price to get it delivered to your door in India.
Correct.
So, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
correct. And we're really happy for all of those in India who want to achieve health without taking curatives or drugs of any sort or having procedures done. We want you to be able to have access to this information because historically, nature cure was practiced in India. And getting back to the real basics of it, the simplicity of it, the truth of what it takes is, you know, extremely honorable to share. So I hope that your students and clients will take advantage of this information for now and for as long as we can keep it in print and going.
Absolutely. And it's information for life, isn't it? It's information.
Oh,
just
definitely. I mean,
you know,
if you continue to practice natural living and allow your body to heal, you're looking at health for life.
this is what constitutes living in health. Absolutely.
That's right. And this is what constitutes happiness.
Yeah.
When you're well, happiness comes along very easily. And if you're not, if that mental side of you, isn't in its happy zone, there are techniques and advice in the book about, what to do. For every element of natural living, there is good explanation about how to put this into your lifestyle and also the natural healing aspects. There's good explanation on, well, what does it mean when you hear that word healing crises or healing cycle? And it is explained easily, very clearly. And it is also explained, how we go about allowing our bodies the time and space to let that healing occur. And the chapter on natural healing is worthy of reading before you go into a healing cycle. And we hope that when you do go into that healing cycle, particularly the first time, that you are under the care of a nature care practitioner. Of course, I recommend Victoria because she is my colleague and I have worked with her and I know her expertise in the area. But it's nice to have a hand to hold when you start to allow your body to do through resting physically and mentally and digestively. It is nice to have someone along with you that can interpret what's going on, because Victoria, if you are a patient of hers, will have done a diagnosis and she will know what caused the disease that your body may be trying to correct and can assure you along the way, well, that's normal, this is what to expect, you're doing a great job, encouragement, and getting the very best result. Now, I will say one thing more about the healing cycle. If you come in and you read this book or you start to see a nature cure practitioner, whomever they may be, do remember that if you are worried about your health and you are concerned or someone in your family is concerned to the level that they're not certain about, going through a natural healing cycle, or you're not positive about what the outcomes can be, you should see a doctor. And that is just here in Australia, we have very strict rules about the laws of medicine and the laws of what one must do, their duty of care. So although I'm not advocating a lifestyle outside of natural living for health, I am saying that it is a responsibility to see a doctor. Then you can go about your business and do as you decide that you would like to do. And it assures family as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I think is, with knowledge, the confidence based on knowledge, born of the truth. Absolutely.
That's right. That is so true.
And once you learn, once you know, once you understand, then that confidence is unbreakable.
Oh.
And I know that most especially through raising children. Personally raising children, I remember at one point just coming to the realization that nature cure had never failed me, not even once.
No.
For anything, any problems that popped up when I was raising my children. Every single time Nature Cure delivered the goods, and so the
That's
confidence
right.
I have now, at this age, having raised children and
Mhm.
knowing Nature Cure and knowing what it is capable of is wonderful. So, yeah, so this book is a great start for anybody who, has never, thought much about health or thought that, they could never take control of their health.
Yes. Yes.
One,
It's a way of living. And what can we
as we
say?
say, the good news is your health is in your hands, and the bad news
Yep.
is health
And
is
the
in
health
your.
is in your hands. That's
So
right.
yeah, so it's wonderful because I think this last couple of years in history, hopefully if
Mhm.
you have your eyes and your ears open, you will realise that
Yeah.
those of us who have been looking
Yeah.
after those of us who are living in health,
Mhm.
none of us have been concerned at all about anything that's been going on.
That's right.
You know,
That is very, very true. Take
with
away
what,
the fear element too.
absolutely,
That is one of the
yeah.
ways that people get driven, straight
So there
to
are
taking
congratulations
cures.
poured in the chat from India. Vikas, Vikrant, Deepa. Thank you all for attending it and for the congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
so go and buy the book in the link, and in our next workshop in Bangalore in April 2nd, on April 2nd and 3rd, we'll be having few hard copies also at the venue as planned.
Very good. Yes, very good. And thank you, Kalyan, for organizing us for this presentation, and Victoria for being just the wonderful practitioner that you are and the great thinker that you are, and encourager, not only of your patients, but also of me. I thank you.
No worries, Katie. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for being there
We're all
and
supporting one
all
another.
this light.
Lovely. Thank
Yes.
you so
And
much.
yes, special greetings to your audience today, Kalyan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.